going to take 100% of the blame.
Excellent.
I made a typing error on the agenda for tonight, and I typed blight bylaw instead of demolition bylaw.
Yes.
So in terms of our meeting this evening, we are not allowed to discuss the demolition bylaw, which is the whole reason that we wanted to get together, and everything else was incidental. So the only thing I'm going to suggest, and we're waiting for Tom, and I don't know what's happened with Janice, is that maybe Janice is here. Hi, Janice. I don't know if anybody is available next week, and we'll just have a meeting strictly on demo bylaw. I'm so sorry. No one else picked up on it, but I am going to take the blame because I typed the agenda.
So can it be discussed under, if someone else were to bring it up as a citizen discussion?
I don't think so.
Because we've like deliberately planned this meeting, we can't now just say, oh, it's a surprise.
Yeah.
But there's not even anything on that's for like citizens discussion either in the agenda.
No. Yeah.
Demolition requests, town hall campus, new projects.
Records room. That was just things that we were actually carrying over from this, but it was the whole demolition delay bylaw that we wanted to talk about. So I think it's best if we actually have a meeting to discuss that maybe separately. Just have the meeting for that.
Yeah. I mean, what, Lonnie, is that all right with you?
Yeah, no, completely fine. I'm free. I do have selectmen on Tuesday night and a real estate meeting on Wednesday night, but I have Monday and Thursday or Friday.
Okay, so I can't do, I'm out away this week. I'm around next Monday, next Wednesday, Thursday, the 29th.
That works for me.
That works for you, Lonnie. How about you, Kathy?
Yeah, I could do Thursday.
That's a ZBA hearing at 7 o'clock, so I'm available before that, but I have to film it unless you don't need me.
Could we maybe do 6 o'clock? With 6 p.m.?
I can even do 5 if that's amenable to help anybody.
I can do 5 as well if that works for everybody.
Just maybe see if is Tom there?
Tom Tom said he was going to be a couple of minutes late.
Okay, well, let's wait until he comes on.
Oh, he said he's going to be probably at the ZBA hearing, so.
Yeah, but if he could do this at 5 o'clock, wouldn't that be better?
Yeah, that might be pushing it for him.
Oh.
Because of I don't know how late he works in Grafton, but.
Okay.
I guess we could ask him.
Yeah, we can ask him.
We can put it on his phone while he drives home.
What time is ZBA 7?
They're at 7. It's 2 like garages or something, so I don't think it's very intensive, but.
Why don't we do? Oh no, we can't. Hey, we could. I mean, if we could do, why don't we say 5:30? I mean, don't town buildings normally close at 4?
Well, that depends on your town.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But yeah, that sounds reasonable.
All right, let's ask Tom. If not, there would be 4 of us. I mean, we're not actually. I mean, I don't know that we're voting on anything. But it's a discussion that I think it's very important. We all think it's really important. So, I mean, let's do the 5 o'clock. And if we run out of time, then we can continue it at some point. But I think it gives us 2 hours and Tom can just join as and when he's available.
I would agree.
I mean, I talk a lot, but I think I'm even struggling with 2 hours.
Yeah, I would agree.
Not that I talk a lot. Thanks, Lonnie. Appreciate that.
No, I didn't mean it.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, all right. That's all right. You covered yourself.
I didn't mean it that way. I was agreeing with 2 hours is a long time.
I will do a new agenda in the morning. And we will do 5 p.m. next Thursday, the 29th. And the only item on there will be the demo bylaw.
Perfect.
So, hey, Dan.
What date was that?
I'm sorry, Lynn. I'm sorry.
So, Janice, Thursday, the 29th.
At 5 o'clock.
Correct.
Okay.
And then what Did you need me, Lonnie, or did you want me
Yeah,
to?
sorry. I just wanted to, I don't know if it's everybody's agenda, and I'll check, maybe something you and I could look at tomorrow, but trying to click on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, we've already found that mistake and fixed it. For some reason, the hyperlink didn't go through on the PDF, so it just had the phone number.
No, but it's funny because I was able to click it from my computer, but on my phone it doesn't work. That's the only place it didn't work. So, just a note. That's all.
Try reloading it because when Shelly was on the phone, I re-uploaded the agenda and fixed the link so that the web hyperlink worked.
Okay.
But I also sometimes my phone doesn't let me click on the links on the PDFs for Teams, and I don't know if that's my PDF thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That is weird.
Huh.
Okay, I'm gonna look at that
I don't know.
tomorrow too, and just see if we can't. If there's it might be an IT thing. I'm gonna check it with you. I'll give you a shout tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know because I did the links. I sent you the link. I did the other one, and I don't know why it didn't go through. Maybe
I was able to click on the link on the PDF on the website on my computer, and it went through fine. Just on my phone, it's not working. So we might have to even open up a ticket with Microsoft to find out why that's not working.
interesting. Figures. Because now when you click on these,
okay, so
everything links up, right? Click here to join. That works. That works. I don't know. This is getting old. I mean, on the one hand, I think this is really helpful for some of these meetings, but it's a lot of work. I don't want to know what that is. Like 5 of them have gone flying by now. It's not good.
Maybe they wanted to join the meeting.
Yeah.
No, that looked like one of the call people, so they must have. Actually, shut these. It's getting bored.
Okay. So we're good with that then for next week? Everybody?
I'm in.
I'm there.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I will do that agenda and I will send it to everybody tomorrow. We have, all right, so we just don't have Tom at the moment. So if we wanted to carry on with the agenda, we've got minutes to approve. We've got the minutes from Kathy, what were the dates of the minutes that you gave us?
10,
Yeah.
October 7th, 2019, and what was the other missing link?
It was the next, yeah.
July. I think it was July.
What meeting is this?
Historical Commission.
Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes?
I didn't get them, but you probably sent them to the government thing, right?
I did. Yes, Janice, I sent them to the government.
Well, then they're evaluating them.
Could we also consider approving the draft minutes that were sent
Yes.
previously for that meeting?
Yep. I actually had sent the minutes for March and for February.
Can you just
I will.
remind me of the dates
Yep.
so I can make sure I have them up, and I will. Hang on, I'm looking for Lynn.
Okay. So the minutes there were 3 sets of minutes. There was 1/5/21. There was 2/9/21, and there were 3/10/21.
Okay. Because I do think definitely going forwards, we'll have to try and get more on top of these. I know we had the same conversation with district.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had the same problem with parks. It's a pain in the ass, but
Agreed.
Yeah, and we can divvy the workload too. It shouldn't have
Yeah.
to be on one person. So.
Well, I think it's okay as long as, we know who's doing it.
Right,
We
exactly.
can't, So I will do that going forward.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes. So it's January 5th, 21, February 9th, 21, March 10th, 21, October 7th, 19, and July 24th, 19.
Right. Seconded.
Second, Kathy.
Janice?
I didn't read them.
Oh,
All right, do you want to hold off then?
yeah. Okay, let's hold off. We'll do those at the next
Janice
one.
can review them. So put those
Yes,
on the
please.
agenda for Thursday.
I will.
I mean, I just didn't get them. I didn't. It's not that I just didn't read, ignored them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. I will make sure that those get sent to you tonight, Janice.
Okay, thank you. Then I'll have something to read for my bedtime.
Oh, I'm not sure I don't know if it's bedtime reading, but yeah.
Oh,
is
it's
that
great to
exciting?
sleep, I
Okay.
promise.
Okay. And we'll have those on for approval next Thursday then.
Sorry.
Hey, don't worry about it. Okay. So the next item there is we pass over. There is nothing to discuss.
On the blight bylaw,
Yeah.
so interestingly enough, as I was doing the PowerPoint, I just was rather amazed at how many blight issues we have. So I'm just thinking that somewhere down the line, we really need to discuss, how we work with other boards to get these properties, either sold or, I don't
At
know.
least taken care of. I agree. I mean, that was the whole reason that we started looking at the possibility of, bringing a blight bylaw into play. And I do think it's still important, but I think what we do have to do is we have to make sure that that it's positive. You've got
Right.
to make sure that anybody who is having an issue where they're not taking care of their property is given that if they need help, is that there is a way that we can help people.
Right.
I don't like any bylaws that are punitive. It makes no sense to me because you're just punishing the wrong people.
Right.
Or punishing people that, but I do agree with you. I think that what we need to do more work on that, and maybe that can be a summer project or something, because we have got the basis where we've been in touch with other towns to see what they do. It's unfortunate that the majority of the blight issues happen to be on historic properties, but
Yeah.
I just feel that we've got to make sure that it's positive.
You know what? I think it would be really awesome, and I don't want to put you on the spot, Lonnie, but this is one of the things that we're faced with, these houses that are falling into disrepair. And, it's how do you reach out to people who are in that predicament? Instead of calling the building inspector and, giving them a headache, do you know of a way or a way that's ever been used that, where you can start interacting with people who are in a predicament?
I mean, I think that the only thing you can do without intruding too much on people's private property is that you can reach out via a letter or a phone call and ask if they want help. But if somebody doesn't want help, I don't know how you force help upon them.
Right.
And it's a very touchy situation, right? I think that's probably what you're saying, and
Yeah.
I don't know of a mechanism that you'd be able to say. That's why it's such a tough bylaw, right? And how do you say to somebody, hey, I guess it's a sense of, hey, we don't like the look of your house because you're allowing it to go into disrepair, or it's going into disrepair and it may be a historical, have a historical significance that would say we'd want to help to repair it, or can we help? And how do you financially help somebody?
Right.
Is it even a tool that the town has to financially help somebody? Because 99% of the time it's likely going to it's a financial reason why they're not repairing, or it's going to come down to they just flat out don't care, right? So I would say that, just in, say, for instance, the house that I had bought on North Ave and redid, like that had outbuildings that were all in disrepair. The structure itself was in decent shape, but there was so much in that house that was in disrepair that when we moved into it, but a lot of it just took some time and energy, and it did get quite costly, but at the end we were able to make it look like the house that was there. So do you have maybe an example? Like, do we have something that wouldn't?
So there's a property on Millville Road, and even like Mila Thayer's house down on Cape Road. Now that property, when we walked in there 6 years ago, was in really decent shape. It needed a roof.
Yep.
It is in such horrific shape now. But I think that was more, there was a lot of going back and forth with the builder. Nobody really wanted to buy it. And most everyone who wanted to buy it wanted to knock it down. But, you wonder if, in some cases, can you set up like a GoFundMe for people in the community who don't have the resources, have financial restraints? I mean, a lot of these older homes are with older people, and, I don't know.
No, I agree. And, and I know I don't want to spend too much off this, but then we, talked about, and this would be more for the assessors, I guess. We'd even talked, I brought up, is there a way for us to freeze taxes that people, when they get to a certain age, that while they continue to own that home, that their taxes don't continue to go up with things that we may vote in town, because people do get on fixed incomes. Again, these are just ideas that you try to think about. But when you go to a GoFundMe account, now you give the person the money, or who's in charge of that GoFundMe money, and making sure that money goes to the repair, or the new roof of the house, or some siding, or some paint, or whatever it may be. Or does the money just go to that person, and they go to they go and spend it on something else? So I don't. I think the tough part becomes, I think the idea of the blight bylaw is great, but then it becomes we just have to tread very lightly, because you're going to offend somebody. You're going, and in whose opinion is the disrepair? I mean, I've seen, you've seen properties where the gutters are hanging off, the roof's falling in, and I can think of a house I drive by on a daily basis right now. And does that person just not have the money to fix their roof? There's a tarp on it, and it's not even that old of a home. But I don't know. I guess this would be a lot more discussion. So I'll try to think of some things and help wherever I can. But again, that's just going to be a tough one to really kind of fine tune. But anything we can do to try to do it, and if there's ways to help, are other towns helping in that respect, or is it more or less just a blight bylaw and you've got to abide by what's happening in town?
From what we've actually seen from other towns, Tom did a lot of work on this and put together like a draft. From what I've seen, it is definitely more punitive. It's, you've got to take care of your house or you're going to get fined. Well, if they had the money, then they would be hopefully they will be taking care of their house. And that's what I mean. We put this together, and we did talk to Chief Castle and also to the building department. And it all of a sudden, it just, when I was reading through it it just seemed that, you know, there are properties that are, we know of a couple that were just literally left to rot, to fall into the ground, because the person at some point, you know, wanted to put a different house there. It's their property, it's their, you know, whatever they want to do. But the other towns that we've been looking through, like particularly Hopkinton was one. I'm trying to scratch my head thinking of the others. It definitely seems a lot more punitive. You know, they're going to punish people for not taking care of their property. And I just don't think that's the right way to do anything, and to get anybody to do anything. And like Kathy said, you know, we literally, you know, took this bylaw and just put it on the back burner because, like you have ideas of what you can do, but then you start to say, well, where does that fit in with our town? Who is actually going to police this bylaw? Whose opinions are we talking about? I mean, if you've got like we've got the historic districts, that polices itself. You've got a separate commission that can actually take care of those issues. But a lot of these other houses that we're thinking of in terms of a blight bylaw, you know, are one-offs. They're just one little house somewhere. So it is, and I think that, you know, going forward with this, until we've got some answers, or we've either done a lot more research on it, or we've looked at programs, if there are any state-funded programs that we can do, something like that. I think that, you know, we're not definitely going to forget about it, but I think this is a big project. We've got a lot to do on this one.
Yeah, I agree.
My only other opinion, my last thing I'll say about it was it possibly, maybe it's just something that you make a bylaw that, you know, references, hey, we'd appreciate it if you take care of your property. And at least if there's a bylaw needed, that there would be a mechanism, if a mechanism comes into play that would allow for funding of said repairs from the state grants or something that require the bylaw to at least be there. At least then we have that there to say, hey, but maybe not make it to the point of you're going to get fined if you don't paint your house. You know,
Yeah.
It's,
See, one of the other, sorry, Aloni, carry on.
No, that's it. Sorry.
I was just going to say that one of the reasons why this actually came up was where we've had houses that have been foreclosed and the bank owns the property, and the bank will do absolutely nothing and just sit on that property until it is in disrepair. And that was one of the things. I mean, hey, if we start finding banks, I don't have a problem with it, but it's trying to put something in place that does make people who are responsible take care of things while not punishing other people. Yeah, so that was the kind of the whole feeling behind it.
Got it.
Maybe we go after the state and ask the state to give every town money to create no interest loans,
Yes.
which, you know, is part of what they attempt to do. But we've yet to, you know, put that into action.
Right. But, I think Dan was going to write that letter.
Take it for a test drive. And then each town can, you know, manage their own situation.
Right. Would be
I
nice.
don't know. Or we win the lottery. How's that? I like that one.
Bad plan.
That's a good plan.
Yeah, can you imagine the legal issues of that one? Whoa. Okay.
Right, I'm done dreaming.
Okay, so does anybody have anything else before we move on to the next topic on that?
Yep.
Welcome, Tom. I saw him. Did he disappear?
Hello.
Okay. Oh, hi, Tom. Listen.
Sorry, I had to unmute.
You just joined. So there was a clerical error made by me in typing the agenda. I put blight bylaw instead of demolition bylaw, which means that we actually, because the meeting was set to talk about the demo bylaw, we actually can't do that. So we are looking at rescheduling a meeting for next Thursday, the 29th, to discuss strictly the demo bylaw. But I know that you've got a ZBA meeting, but we were wondering if we could maybe do it at 5.
Okay, that should be fine.
Oh, what a wonderful person you are, Tom Maroli.
Oh,
all right,
God.
so
What do you want from me? I feel like you want something.
Let me think on it.
Yeah.
I'll have some of Kristen's cooking. How's that?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So the next item on the agenda is the Preservation Award Recognition and Plaque Program. Kathy, did you want to?
So yeah, I talked to the Historical Society a couple of weeks ago, and they would like to no longer be responsible for the Historic Plaque Program,
Okay.
which I believe could be catastrophic for us because basically we have to collect the money ahead of time in order to get the plaques produced. But I don't mind. I mean, if we don't collectively mind taking on that responsibility and continuing to advertise it through the town website, then, you know, I think there are like 8 of them in queue right now.
Okay. And currently, who the owner of the property pays for that, or the
Yeah,
historic?
they do. They do.
Okay.
We don't discount them at all, which is,
Okay. I mean, I have no. That's anybody else. I think that it could be something we could pick up and do.
yeah. So we just do
So-
the application process and review them.
Okay.
Go
I
ahead.
have some, sorry, I have questions about the money though.
Yes.
So if the town gets involved, it complicates things. Ideally, the best way to do this would be to wait till it's all done and have them directly pay the invoice for the plaque to the person making the plaques. We don't have an account that allows us to collect funds and then turn around and pay them out. I don't think we want to get into that, although I do think, so Historic District is at some point going to reach out to find out if we can get a special account to collect donations for signage. So I don't know, I don't know if the town really wants 1,000 special accounts or if that's really the right way to be doing that sort of thing. I don't know. It seems like that's really more revolving account territory, and that's a whole lot of work for some signs.
Right.
But could you do it that you do all the research, you go to Karen, you get it all done, and then you tell them, all right, it's $100 for the sign, you're going to pay Karen directly.
Well,
Yeah.
that would be the
Just the
smart
cost
way
of the
to do it.
sign. No
Yeah, I
fee,
mean,
no nothing.
Yeah, we can do the admin part of it, but then we could produce like a package for anybody who's interested in one of the signs. Then we can just, make a note of it, make a note of the details of the property, and then send them the package with, the contact name and information for who they have to pay.
That's a good idea. And then we'll just give them the bill and they can pay it directly and Karen can tell them when it's done.
Just,
Yeah.
can I caution one thing on that?
Yeah.
And check with procurement on that as far as the town recommending a single vendor. It might get a little hairy. That's all. Just make sure that the procedure's correct so that we don't get in any trouble. That's all.
Yeah, how much?
All right.
How much are the plaques? That's a good point. 100, you said?
50.
And how many do you think we're going to do?
Right now we have 8 in queue.
So that's 400. So we probably, technically he's right. We probably would want to get bids and,
Well, I don't know that you need
or
to
at
get
least
bids.
find out.
I think that right, just find out the best way to do it as far as a recommendation that, again, it's just it gets weird when you say, go to this company, because then some other sign company is going to complain and say, well, why didn't you tell them to come to us? We can make the same signs and we charge 45 or whatever it may be. So, it just gets with the society, they could do that because they're not a town board, and that's where it becomes such a tricky thing.
With the
Maybe
signs,
it's black.
Kathy,
Does
why
she-
don't they want to do it anymore?
I don't know. I don't think they wanted to be bothered.
Yeah, we don't want to be the national bank of the historical society.
Well, I think that then we do need to check into this. I mean, the admin part of it, I think we can definitely do. But as Lorne said, maybe we have to get, 3 different companies and just list 3 different companies and say, this is the plaque. choose which one you want pay direct.
Okay, Cap, can I interject here?
Let's,
Ron, the treasurer would like to speak. Yes.
Look, that if it's going to be that much of a hassle, we probably just ought to go back to the historical society and say, look, this is going to be a big pain in the butt for the town to do. Should we just keep doing it?
why don't we talk to Jody and Eric and just make sure that that's okay,
Okay.
or Kim or somebody.
Or make sure
Bonnie
what's
said.
okay.
Well, what we're thinking is okay, that we can, I mean, Karen is the authorized provider of those signs. We do the research and then they're authorized to purchase one through her,
Okay.
and they just pay the bill.
All right.
Did you hear what?
Hold on. Can you just repeat what you just said, Dan?
I said, so essentially,
I'm trying to think this out and
Yeah.
how it's.
Karen, what we're saying is, so that the society or the commission does the research, says your house is old enough, you meet the qualifications to have your sign, you can now go ahead and order it from our authorized person who's authorized to produce this official Mendon Historic Commission circa sign.
Okay.
I mean, you could just go order one online for 20, yourself too, but nothing's stopping you. It's not like it's copyrighted.
Dan, did you hear what Rich was saying? In the
Some
back.
of it about just,
So yeah, he was just saying it based on the complexity. Maybe it's just
Yeah.
better to have us do the administrative aspect and the
And then hand
society.
it back.
Yeah, the society would do the financial.
When we have our next meeting, we'll bring it back up again and say, look, this is going to be a whole harangue for the historical commission because they're a town government board and it's a big pain in the butt. So, I mean, if we're talking about 8, I mean, they should come in only in dribs and drabs now that the main program's done, unless somebody wants to replace a sign, right?
Yeah, except
see,
there's been an uptick though.
I think we should push them as a way of trying to, as we've talked previously about trying to designate these properties so people know where they are.
Yeah.
But if the society doesn't want to do that, then maybe we just need to figure out the right way to do it on our end. But why don't we, I don't know, why don't we do the research on our end too, though, before we, like,
All right,
Lenny said,
okay.
let's
And we'll
let's
leave
ask some
it to you.
questions.
If it turns out to be
All
not a straight line, then come back and we'll go back to the society. Dan, you're part of that too, so we'll go back and ask them.
Yeah, so maybe we'll just put this and look into it and bring it up next month.
Okay, excellent. All right, so on the other aspect, preservation awards. So there are some people in this community that we would be remiss to overlook what they have done. Peter Coffin, I mean, the list could go on, but Peter's done extraordinary work in restoration. Deborah Flanagan.
Yep.
Yep, having taken that historic home, watch it burn to the ground, and then
Rebuild it. It's incredible. Yeah.
absolutely. And then there are individuals I think that are I mean, there's a good size list, and I think we have got to figure out how to make sure that yearly we make public recognition of people who really are stepping up to the plate. And just trying to save,
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
So
Did Peter get an award, a recognition award for what he did on George Street? He was supposed to. Did it not happen?
We gave him a plaque.
Right.
Society gave him a plaque, and we also gave him a print of that Doris Daniels Cox did of the farm.
Okay.
So but we've never really publicly recognized him for the work that he's done on not just one house, but every all of the properties that he owns. He does extraordinary work. So maybe we can start to set up a schedule, like every year at this time we will, we can make an announcement through the paper that we will be accepting applications or recommendations or, what have you. And then once a year we will make those awards, in a public setting. So,
I like it.
So then we would have to do some research on plaques and how we want them to look, and we can include the town seal and
Okay.
I do have all the arts and crafts if you want to make nice things with foil seals with the seal on it and everything. We've done them a couple times for park stuff.
Awesome.
Dan, you don't make offers like that because you will find that
know.
you have a new talent that is going to be
Well, 'cause-
exploited by us.
Because Ellen has the stamp, and then you buy the foil seals, and you can make a really nice Menden seal, and then you print up a certificate.
There you go.
We've done them when we name the fields. They come out really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I think it's great.
I'm thinking something a little more substantial than a paper certificate.
Well, so was I.
you
I
do-
was thinking
yeah.
a plaque, not, but you know.
No.
But it, you know, it'd be really nice for these people to have an opportunity to share their experience of rehabbing or, you know, with the community. And, you know,
Yeah.
I know it's not always a fun adventure, but it, you know,
Yep.
it's an adventure nonetheless. Yeah. So, so yeah, let's set a
Put
date.
that down on our new projects list.
Yeah.
Getting longer. Okay. I don't think we have any new demo requests, do we? I haven't seen anything come through.
Nope. I'm just double checking. There's nothing.
Okay.
Let me just hang on. There's one more. Viewpoint was down today, of course. That's district. That's district. That's it. Nope, nothing new.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Town Hall campus.
So I think, and actually, maybe it's good Lonnie's here too. I think I don't know. I think there needs to be some sort of a building committee or some group, advisory group, to plan for whatever is going on with this campus. It just seems like there's so many moving pieces. You've got the rest of the police station, the demo of the old building, finishing the campus. Ann's got grants. Bill McHenry's got green communities. Now was all that drama over painting.
Right.
You know, it's a lot of work for, you know, one person, any person to try and manage. And it just seems like we're going in circles. You know, I'd like to see like a 10-year plan of where the office is going to be, who's going in what room, you know, what do we want to do?
Well, I think the
I
CBI
know.
study was supposed to get us to that point where it took the guesswork out of what needed to get done. So how do we regroup and get that, you know, back?
Well, there's a ton of recommendations in that study. So like as part of the police station, they put the infrastructure for sprinklers. You know, Kim's been talking a lot about moving offices. I know we met like a year ago. The more I think about it, I would almost gut this entire second floor. These are all temporary walls. It's all crap. Why don't we redo this into something that fits our needs?
All right.
You know,
So
this
I have a
beautiful-
question
I
here.
know the
My
tin
question
ceiling.
is, if you are talking about needing like a commission or a group or something to do, does that really fall under historic, or should that not be something separate? I mean, the painting of the town hall, yes, it's an historic building. It's something that traditionally we've been, you know, working on, but again, I want to go back to something that maybe if this is historic, great, let's deal with it. But if we're going to try and recommend to the select board that there should be a commission to take care of the campus, is that something that we should be doing?
I guess I'm of the opinion, and especially based on the last two finance committee meetings, I was thinking perhaps this commission might just send a letter of concern to the select board that there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of planning going into whatever the future of this building is. I mean, there's literally paint chips piled on the ground, and FinCom's going to pass over funding to paint it, and we don't have any quotes. Nobody's talked to a painter. I mean, that meeting was insane, I guess.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so the FinCom did pass it.
Yes.
Okay, at the last meeting, with the select board. So I believe they're going to pass at least the funding of that. And as far as quotes go, I don't know that she has any quotes except more of just a rough idea of what the cost was going to be, because the concern was if there needed to be any underlying repairs that you would do while you were painting, if, you know, you need to replace, clapboard or, at the roof line or whatever. However, I do agree that there definitely is kind of this tornado going on right now of what to do next. And I think a lot well, according to Kim anyhow, that where we put that well is really going to hinge on what the next phase looks like. As far as a layout of the outside, I mean, what was presented with the police station, I think was actually a pretty nice layout, and also helped with the traffic flow. But as far as the inside of the building, you're right. We haven't even really touched upon that, except like you said, moving some offices around. So I can even, no need to even really, if you don't want to send her a letter at this point, I can at least ask that it be added to one of our upcoming agendas to start to focus a little bit further on that. And is there a plan to actually, like you said, just kind of purge and reset that floor you're on right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be helpful to have just a discussion. I mean, like you said, there's so many options: interior, exterior, grants. I'm starting to get involved in this green community stuff, and they want to come in and do all this stuff with HVAC, and it's like, what's the point? Because we don't even know. Like, it's just a waste of time right now, even if the state does pay for it. So I just having the plan down, and then we can figure out when to do it, how to pay for it.
But don't forget the
think,
attic too.
I get it.
Yeah, right. So Jan's just so that issue upstairs we need to keep an eye on with potentially with the plaster starting to sag, things like that.
Well, and then he did say there was something that had to be sistered up there, another area that had to be sistered.
Well, what did we leave with that meeting with Kathy? I thought it sounded like the concern was the plaster was mostly cosmetic. He said keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't move.
Well, no, he said you needed to take that down to see what was actually going on inside.
Right.
So that had to be removed so you could see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do have a letter from him about the record room.
Which, if they do this green community stuff, might be a chance to run. They may have to run some ducting up through there, and at least open up a small place to look. But yeah, I don't know. I think the discussion is a good place to start. Of just what do we want to do in the next 5 years?
Right, exactly. And
yeah,
when things execute like a tornado, it's very hard to get access to grants and everything else because they want you to stay on a certain time frame. You need to be able to execute. So in order to get that money, we have to really backtrack and have a solid plan in front of us. So, but I think an advisory group would be good in prioritizing what needs to get done, where funding sources could come from, and in a time frame, with target dates.
Okay. Anybody have anything else on that? No?
I don't think so.
So we actually don't need to take any action. If Lornie's going to maybe add it to a select board agenda, then we can go and maybe talk more about it from there and figure out exactly, it's great having these ideas, but who actually is going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe even after the town meeting, if things are crazy right now, but
I think a lot of the things that we're discussing now, like new projects, new things that we're thinking of, I think should probably be tabled till after the town meeting. But okay.
I know one big item will be that well. Once we know where that well can go, then we can really start to put a time together.
Right.
I'm going to email them right now because so we were talking with the state. They were going to allow a new non-conforming location. They were all gung-ho. Sue Connors came out, and then she had to bring it back to her boss, and that's where we left it. That was about a month ago now. So I'll bug McClure and find out if they could see what's going on. I mean, it seems like we were going to be okay here. I think in a way it actually helps us that, on the one hand, Shelley Vincent is never going to sell us or give us an easement over his land. But on the other hand, he's certainly not putting in housing or, it's his farm. He wants it. So it's still protected. It's Chapter 61A land. You know, so it works to our advantage.
Right, and we would get right of first reviews a lot.
Right, exactly. So that's huge. All right.
Okay. Next one, new projects. Well, I think we've
So-
just got 5. So
Well, this might have been and it actually ties into the records room.
yeah,
I just wanted to check in. So with the records room, do we want to go authorize spending $100-200 to go buy a fan for the basement? I know Kathy, you said Rich was working on fixing the pump more permanently. And I think just to try and dry it out down there.
Yeah, I actually was gonna get in touch with Bob Sweet to see if we could get a locking. We talked to a lawyer and trying to figure out what we can do. Get a locking screen on that bulkhead so we can open the doors and let it kind of, some of that water start to evaporate. But I think a fan would be great, but we'll have to, go over and turn it on and shut it off.
I'd just be afraid of anything that anybody playfully or not can stand on and just not even get hurt, but just break it.
Yeah, which is why I thought, Bob could probably construct something really sturdy. And then we were going to talk about putting a fence around the bulkhead. So people couldn't get into that area because we talked about how stupid people can be, basically.
Okay.
So, I think it would be great to get a fan going in there and start to dry it out.
Well, as we had talked, so I think, we have this small budget. So if there's some of these things we'd like to take care of, that was one. I know I bought the light for that flagpole. I think I'd like to ask you guys to authorize a second one for the Memorial Square because they're $45.
That looks great, by the way.
yeah.
Really nice to see that flag lit up.
Sometimes those lights are garbage, so that we'll see if it lasts, but that looks pretty good. But I think we should do one over at this Memorial Square too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I would make a motion to support approving a voucher of, I think it was say up to $50 to purchase a second light out of the historic account.
And what about the fan you said is 100?
I haven't gotten a specific price. Let me look again. I was just looking at Home Depot. I just, so that was the purpose of this line is to, these small items we can knock out, if there's pest control, if there's issues that we can correct to stabilize these buildings, we should do it.
Okay.
Hang on. Another one would be that sign at Founders Park. I'd like to just get a price from Karen to replicate it. The sacred ground thing that's like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sign.
Okay.
Between $100 and $200, depending on if we go quarter horse or half power. But these aren't really ducted, I don't think. Unless you get a duct for them, we can look into this.
All right. So how do you want to set up these motions? You want to appropriate up to $50?
Well, right now, the way we're set up, this board by majority would have to approve any expenditures. So I think what I would suggest is you approve the project up to a certain amount, authorize me to sign the voucher on your behalf for that specific item.
Yep.
So if you want to talk to Bob Sweet, maybe we need to wait and do more research and not, buy the right thing with the right connections unless we want to put a fan down there now.
Yeah, a fan would be great, but where is it going to exhaust? I know we talked about the chimney.
Well, there was a hole, wasn't there?
Yes, down in the basement. There is one that goes through. There's a small one at the bulkhead. Or do we run the fan from inside the building down into the basement and let it exhaust out of that small hole?
Yeah, this is expensive. This is $367 for a pretty heavy duty fan that's probably way more than you want down there. You know, we're not. So then maybe we
Well,
need
and
to.
that's not going to
into
solve the
this more.
problem, is it? It's like putting a Band-Aid on something that needs stitches. You know, I mean, we already know that we've got a lot of work and everything ahead of us with the records room. I mean, I know it's only $360, but at the same time, you know, should we hold on to that for and maybe then look towards a solution for the records room?
Well, if it's not, like I said, if it's not critical, if you're going to talk, then let's
Yeah.
table that one. I think
Okay.
that's-
All right, we'll table that and then we can discuss it again and maybe have a think on what other possible solutions there might be. I mean, definitely. Why don't we?
Maybe Norm could suggest something.
Yeah, I think it's worth asking.
Yeah.
So then the other one would be the flag.
Yep.
The sign, which I'm hoping would be under $100. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that we wanted to try and get done. I'm just thinking of small stuff that needs to get done.
So Dan, do you want to just make a motion, excuse me, to cover the light and the sign? And that way, and authorize you to,
Yeah, so I'll make
Yeah.
a motion that we approve an expense of up to, say, 50 for the light, and I'm thinking we probably want 200 for that sign just to not be doing this again. So up to 250 for
Second.
a flagpole light and the sign, get that sign fixed
yep, all right.
and start there.
Okay, Janice seconded. Okay, Kathy, vote.
Yes,
Tom,
Yes.
and I do.
Yep.
Okay. All right,
Aye.
motion carried.
Okay, and then I have another one. So the district commission, and I think we talked about this before, is looking at signs for the historic district. And they were talking about potentially trying to do some sponsorships. We're maybe hoping, I know Kathy, we've talked, hoping that the state might work with us on the work they're doing on 16. Would we be willing to commit some of the $3,000 funds towards these signs? You know, I don't know what percentage we're still trying to get pricing, but are we open to that discussion at least?
I think so. How many signs, Dan?
I believe the discussion was 4 signs. So one coming up 16 in Elm, 6 Main and George, 16 coming up 16 North Avenue. That might be like basically all the entrances to the district, possibly one in
Yeah,
front of
Myrtle,
Jane's
I think.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jane's house is the other one. Yep.
yeah.
I have a list somewhere. And I think any of the ones that are technically on 16, we're hoping that we can talk the state into doing something because they're going to be making a mess of all those memorials and redoing them. I mean,
Right. Dan, did I ever send you the information of the
Yeah.
People that did the sign that were looking for the sign that was out on 16 on the border of Uxbridge and Mendon?
oh, I don't know if you sent me that one.
All right, that's probably a good one to look into and see if they're in charge of signage.
I mean, here, I think, yeah, Hastings and Maple, North and 16, the center of town, George and Main, and then Jane's house, the single 40 Millville Road. There probably should be something commemorating that as a district, although maybe not as big as these, just a plaque.
Yeah.
But I guess once we have pricing, I can bring that back to you.
Excellent.
Are the is the district, I'm sorry, I kind of missed it a bit. Did you say the district is actually going to be looking for funding for doing?
Well, so they've been talking about fundraising specifically for these signs, potentially doing some sort of a sponsorship idea. So I was going to reach out to the select board to find out if they'd be willing to allow us to set up a special account to take those donations. Because I believe that's the way that has to go. It really is going to depend how much these signs. I mean, we're not looking to put big, monstrous granite things that some towns have done.
Right.
These here, I can show you. Did I send you the pictures of them? I don't know what happened to it now.
Okay.
A second. if I can find them again. Maybe.
But in any event, so they're actually going to be talking to the select board about trying to get an account to handle all of this stuff. So signage and things like that in the future will actually come from the district commission rather from historical.
Well, and this is where, I think they need to talk too. So that would be an account specific to solicit donations for these signs. If we were going to embark on an ongoing project to do these historic plaques, I'm not sure a special account is the way to handle that. And maybe that's a question for the accountant or for Jody, the treasure collector. I don't know.
Okay.
You know, I mean, really, it probably should be a revolving account, but does the town really want more
Another one.
account? I don't know.
It's really only for 4 signs. I mean,
Yeah,
right?
right. I think it's a
I mean,
one-time
that's it.
thing.
It's not. So yeah, it's one time.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not going to be
This is these. I think what
unless
we're looking at.
unless the historic district enlarges, of course.
These dark
Yeah.
Nice.
Harvard, Arlington.
Oh,
But
yeah.
hopefully, you know, not like cast bronze or anything insane. I think just a basic.
Nice.
So,
Okay. So are we don't really have anything further to deal with on that. We're just going to wait and hear about what funds they're going to do and how they're going to handle it before we get more involved, if we even need to.
yeah, I think Janice, was there anything else that we needed to bring back to this commission from the other night?
Let me just look at my notes. Hold on.
It was just the money for this.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. I guess it was whether the commission would give any money to the district. Period.
Did you see all of us, our wallets just kind of slam shut there?
I'll bake you some cookies.
Drop them off.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess, I mean, so was that like a formal request?
Yes.
They asked you to come back to us and see
Yes.
whether we would give money?
Yeah.
So
it
this
sounds,
is the formal request. Okay.
and
Trick or
then
treat.
we would have to come back with some actual numbers. You know, once we know how much per sign. You know, personally, I think, you know, if the town could pay for half and then see if they can get spot. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the signs are only $200 a piece.
Well, I mean,
in
the
which
thing
case,
is, I think the thing, Dan, did you mention the money runs out June 30th or something? So it would be whether.
well, it's a line
Okay.
item budget. So right now we have $3,000 a year for these sorts of expenses, or they just roll back over to free cash. You know, so we certainly don't want to spend it on stuff we don't need, but we should look to spend it on things that are needed for historic, whether that's signage or whatever.
I think, what do you think about, I mean, we obviously have got to put together, you know, what we anticipate that spending that we're going to need before the end of June. What about, I mean, we're definitely, obviously, you know, we're open to help. And if we can do something, we can. I think it would be nice if we were to have figures rather than just, will you give us money? Because we don't actually know what else we've got to spend, because we were talking about a couple of plaques on different cemeteries and different things like that too. So, and any other things, I'm not sure, you know, what
Yeah.
other things we have to spend that money on. Why don't we have them say, we're absolutely up for a discussion on it, but we would like concrete figures because we need to know, because obviously we've got expenses too. I think, does anybody have any other idea on what we should do there, or?
No, I agree.
I
Yeah.
like that. So
Okay.
why don't we make a list, and maybe this is something we can do in a month or two.
Sure.
I mean, we talked about this before. We want to look at refreshing or installing signs in cemeteries too,
Yep.
whether all of them, some of them,
Right. Especially if we're doing all the cemetery work.
because
You
I
know.
will reach out to Karen and get pricing. What do you like in the style of what's there? Just basic
Yeah.
sign with the white.
Yeah, I think
I'll
so.
make
But
a
I mean,
list.
we were also talking about, you know, some other different signage and things that we wanted to do. So, you know, let's us put together a list of what we feel that we want to spend, and then definitely we will talk to the district commission. And but tell us how much. I mean, we don't want to say, yep, we'll do it, and it comes in at, you know, $2,995.49.
How'd you come up with that number?
I don't know. You know, the stuff that rolls through my head sometimes just
Gary.
worries me too.
Yeah.
Is she calling from across the pond?
Yeah.
The other side of town, not across the pond. Okay. So then we have, is everybody, we don't need to vote on that, I don't think, do we?
I don't think so.
Vote on it, I think
Sorry.
it's just, okay.
Uh-oh.
Um,
Sounds like
Records
Janice is having cat problems.
who is?
Was that Janice?
Yeah, sorry.
Might
Oh,
have
you
been.
having kitten problems again, Janice?
Yes.
Okay, who wants to talk about the records room?
I think Janice does. Janice, you want to share what you, what Noah,
Norm.
Norm?
Norm.
I was this close to nailing it. You want to share what he sent back?
Yes, yeah. So he said about the records room. I thought he was pretty thorough in terms of what he said he needed to be addressed for that room, and he said the estimate, as you know, for engineering, the field report is probably 2,800 to 3,000 plus, and that a detailed field inspection has to be required to complete the report. And that money does not include field survey or engineering building design at this time. So he's wondering, he needs some direction on what the town wants to use the building for, to help in terms of his focus. But anyway, the bottom line being, in November we're going to have to request, let's say, $3,500 to have him do the work.
Yeah, and he sent a bullet list of items.
Yeah,
that
he
we
did.
saw.
Yeah.
I sent it to you, Lynn. Did you get it?
I did, thank you, Janice. It is actually incredibly thorough.
Yeah, I thought I was impressed with what he did based on, you know, his perusal of the building. I thought he was pretty on
Right?
Yeah.
point. So I guess the question is, do we want to, you know, put that in for the November warrant meeting?
Oh, I would think so. I shifted over to Ann, and Ann thought that price was really reasonable and easy to achieve, but that is not an engineering plan.
Right.
That would just be the assessment.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay, all right. So I'd be curious to know what we would be thinking about. Let's, you know, if we were to nail down, you know, all the outside factors, let's, you know, look at getting the land donation finished or started with Jane and David. We need to approach the Board of Health and discuss a tight tank. A second egress. I mean, it all seems rather doable if the building, you know, to keep the building viable and in a state where it can be used and functional. But we've got to tick all those other boxes before we can give him the right feedback so he can go ahead and work on engineering plans.
Lynn,
Yeah.
do you think, I mean, is that the kind of space that someone would be interested in for an office if it could be fixed up with a bathroom and like just a small, you know, a single person, you know, an accountant, a lawyer, some sort of,
I would say definitely.
you know, is there a need for that?
There's always a need for that. And, you know, somebody like an attorney putting their own shingle out or whatever, I think definitely. But we've got to think in terms of, you know, does the town want to become a landlord? You know, I
Right.
mean, that when if we're talking about, you know, doing the building and then renting it out to someone else, does the town actually, I mean, we know that towns don't want to be real estate agents and they don't really want to be landlords. I mean, if we're going to put that much work in it, maybe it may be better to use as like some kind of municipal office. I don't know, keeping it within the town. And you know, it depends what space and things we've got in there.
Right.
But you know,
I thought you wanted to stand.
definitely, I think you could have somebody interested in it as a rental. Depends on how much it's going to cost and what we can offer somebody, rather than moving into a brand new purpose-built office in a strip mall, you know,
Right.
or like the
Yeah.
offices that there's offices, I think I drove by the other day for rent in the Charles River Bank building. You know, what I can say, yes, someone would rent it, how long it would take, how much they pay. If they can, they're not going to spend $2,000 a month renting that building if they can go into Charles River for $1,300 a month and they've got all the facilities and everything there brand new and more. So, you know, I think this is one of the things that we have discussed, you know, at length sometimes, is we do not want to lose this little building. We absolutely do not want to lose it. But in order to go to the town and say, you know, we need money, or even, you know, we're going to get a grant or whatever, in order to do that, I think we have got to think of a purpose for that building going forward.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah. And Janice, I mean, I would love it. I think it's the perfect Parks Department / Water Department office.
Yeah.
I see, you know, again, I suppose that depends what the plans are for the, you know, the future of this building. I mean, I think we have a ton of space to, you know, on the one hand, it's crazy to spread things all over, you know, but.
Well, it's not like you're that far away.
And it, you know, maybe it could just be used as a meeting space.
Well, and that would be something that,
somebody.
you know, would potentially have some kind of usage if you wanted to use it as, you know, if it was a meeting room, a small meeting space, that could be something that we could offer to organizations to rent, where we
Yeah.
didn't to keep it, you know, I mean, even if it was in use during the day as an office, you know, whatever it happens to be. But I do think that if we're going to look to ask for money, any money, the first question that someone's going to ask is, well, okay, but what are we going to use it for? We don't want to spend a lot of money putting it back to rights and everything, and then just have another building that somebody has got to take care of, and it's historic, and then, you know, we need a window replacing, whatever, who pays for it, what do? We're back in the same situation as we are. I mean, I think with its location, it should really become part of the campus, but I don't think anybody's gonna kind of take that one on. But
Yeah. Well, I think I would agree. I mean, I think whatever that use is, we'll have to figure out what
Yeah.
it could be, you know, even if it is just, you know, birthday parties and something.
Yeah.
There was a robotics club that wanted space, and I don't know what they ended up finding. We didn't really have anything through the town or through parks. You know,
Yeah.
so there may be
Who was that?
groups like that. A robotics, like
Oh,
kids,
from
you know, so they
school?
want to basically, yeah, like a school team. You know, they basically want to set up on the floor and they build like a course and the
Robots
robot
that
does
kill.
the thing. Yeah. Not like, you know, battle bots things.
That's what I was thinking of.
No.
But, you know, there are definitely different things that you could have meetings in, without doubt. You know, if we wanted to open it up for rental, we could maybe even do that and try and get some money back on it, or it becomes part, I think, of a municipal building. But
Doesn't
I
that
think,
get into the whole thing you just said, though, that the town doesn't want to get into
I don't
rental?
think the town wants to become realtors. I really don't.
But I mean, that would
At least
be
I
the
hope
same
they
thing
don't.
if you're renting it out for different things.
Well, I think versus booking for an hour, like we've
Yeah.
booked the fields, as opposed to a tenant that has exclusive use.
No, I understand. No, I understand that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it still seems like you're dealing with the liability.
Can you fix it up and sell it? Put it bid?
Yeah, there's, I mean, you can, absolutely. The only thing that, again, we've got to look at is how much money is this going to cost to fix and get into a condition where somebody is going to want to buy it. Just because it's a historic building and we love it and we don't want to lose it doesn't mean to say it's going to have the same appeal to other people. And then you've got the other issue of whenever you sell a property, you're pretty much giving up all rights to it. And if someone wanted to paint it, I mean, well, it's in the district, but they can paint it whatever they wanted. But I mean, if somebody wanted to paint it sky blue and put umbrellas on every window, we would no longer have any control over it. So I think we've got to really sit and look and say, what use is it? And I mean, if we did want to sell it, we're selling an historic building. We could certainly put some restrictions on its use, but then you start to cut down the number of people that will even contemplate looking at it. You start saying to people what they can and can't do, then they're going to walk away and not be interested. I think we need to figure out if we want to keep this building and we want to keep it in town and we want to, repair it, then I think we've got to come up with a good town use that we can use it for.
Yeah. I wonder if we just sell it and put a preservation restriction on it. And, but, we still have,
I don't know if people would buy it in the condition it's in right now, Kathy.
Yeah.
If
the price were right. And I think as long as the new landowner or property owner is going to use it for rental purposes, then I think we can keep the, matching MPPF grant money and apply it to some restoration aspects.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the,
Right.
dirty details.
Right.
I'd be worried if we
think,
sell it,
go on,
we're
Dan.
back where I say if we sell it, I think we're back where we started at the beginning of this meeting with the blight bylaw.
with the blight, yeah.
How long is it
I
before it
think
looks just
blight
like
bylaw
this
too,
again?
right?
Yeah. Someone's
What
going to
houses
take
are
it down.
falling down in the district, right?
Yeah.
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 So.
Right.
All
It'd
right,
be nice to have a little store selling Menden wares.
That would be cool.
You have the blueberry wine, you have the honey, you have the alpaca wool.
Yeah.
That
It would
lady
be
Ivy
nice.
down on Quiston
Well,
Road. I mean, she would know whether it would be viable because she had that store, over on Hartford Avenue.
That's a really interesting idea. And that's almost the kind of thing that the town could undertake through a department or the school. You could staff it. So there's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, BVT used to have the office program, but that's going out this year, which is too bad because that would have been the perfect program to figure out stocking and, selling and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Well, so I think short term, is there anything, what do we need to do then?
We need to go repoint the basement. So you guys tell me when you're free and get it done.
Well, is that something we should be, is that we can hire somebody for $1,000 to, I don't know what we're looking at.
If we can guarantee that the air quality is okay down there, then we could get somebody in there to do some repointing, even if it's only partial.
See, again, I'd hire a contractor, let them inspect it. They can choose if they want the job or not. They're insured. They work in dank basements all the time. I don't think it's our job to decide what they do or don't want to do.
But can we just do that, or do we have to go through and put out like RFPs and?
If it's under, I forget the number, 5 or 10,000, you just have to get 3 quotes.
No, if it's under, I believe it's under 50.
Okay. Yeah, no, they keep changing it. So if we have some people, like those people you've talked to for the cemetery, let's get 3 prices on what needs to be done and go from there.
Okay, that might be a good thing for us to work on.
All right, let's do it.
I don't mind showing people around if we need to, or.
Okay.
Janice.
I can show them too. But.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can demonstrate a lot of stuff.
Of course, we could go back to the historic district commission and say, do you have any money? Because we want to fix up the records room. I think that's probably going to be a no.
Well, it's funny. One of the things, and we tabled it, is talking about getting together a list of, preferred vendors.
Yep.
That are specialized in this historic work.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there doesn't. Although that's another thing we need to. We're not sure what level of money exists within the district specifically. What our options are there, but.
Okay. All right. Well, that's another not new project, but it's something that we really got to start moving on, especially if we're looking at that grant for next year.
Yeah. So next meeting, why don't we look at the elements that we want to include in that building? Discuss where a secondary egress might be.
Yeah.
What things do we want? Getting.
Does the window count?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea to sit and we'll actually go through that list that we have and see exactly, prioritize everything.
Yes, and and then once we can give him clear direction, he can give us some leads on getting, people that he knows that do repointing, that do, when we have to have the chimney capped and things like that. So maybe we can,
Okay.
get some of those little things taken care of.
Okay. All right. Good idea. All right. Any other business? Is there anything that came up that we needed that was not on the agenda?
I don't believe so. Just so to confirm for tomorrow,
Yep.
we'll be upstairs if you choose to come in person on the 3rd floor,
Mm-hmm.
or you can sign in remotely.
Yep.
Same as the planning board hearings, ZBA hearings. I think
Oh,
that's
okay. Because I do have a board for people to sign in. I'll also bring sanitizer and I guess
we got it upstairs.
you got it all upstairs already. We don't need to. Okay,
we got
perfect.
supplies.
And yeah.
What
all
are
right.
you talking about?
For the meeting,
hearing tomorrow night.
Public hearing.
Oh, is it there? Oh, I thought it was.
Well, so Janice, you can call in as well if you would
Okay.
prefer. That's what
All
we
right.
did it that way because we didn't want to end up with 1,000 people. If people are going to show up, I know I talked to a few of the applicants. They're welcome to come.
Yeah.
Whatever people are most comfortable with. It just for something like this, I think that hybrid setup is a lot more flexible.
Yeah.
And Dan, you can track whoever dials in, correct? Okay.
Same as the
It's
other stuff.
part of our attendance. Okay, good.
Better not have 100 people show up like that planning board thing, though. Good Lord.
Yeah, no, let's not have that.
All over. It was the grocery store.
Yeah, well,
That
people want to know.
It hit almost 100 people.
Did it really?
Yeah.
And
and then
what
you
was
said
the result?
it was just an informational meeting. They weren't even deciding. They were just, presenting
Getting
an
out there.
idea. But the 29th at 5:00 to talk about demo delay.
Yep.
And then do we want to set another meeting or do we want to deal with that on the 29th?
Let's deal with that on the 29th.
Okay.
Because we've also got the town meeting coming up. We need to make sure that everything that we need to do is done and everybody knows what they're doing. So, anything else? Anybody? Tom, anybody?
I'm good.
Okay.
I've got nothing.
Okay, great. Lornie, thank you very much for sitting and staying with this. And I'm so sorry. Next time it will definitely say demolition, not blight. But your input was great on a lot of the different things. It's so useful having, someone around that can put us straight. It's wonderful.
No, thanks
right.
for having me. I enjoyed coming. So look forward to the next meeting, but I'll probably also be there tomorrow night as well.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks.
All
all.
righty.
night.
If there's no other business,
No.
would anybody like to close? the
Actually,
meeting? Oh.
there is one more thing. Put scenic roads
Oh, yeah,
on the thing for the 29th.
I
Yeah.
will. Yep.
Because we should talk about that too, just so we're prepared for the meetings
Okay.
and all that.
Yep.
Cool.
Great.
All righty.
All right, everybody get rest.
So, yeah, so I am, I'll obviously be at the meeting tomorrow, but I'm leaving on Thursday and I will not be back around until next Wednesday. But I will have my laptop with me. I'll have my phone. You can text, call if there's anything that comes up. But that's why I will make sure I get the agenda done tomorrow.
Are you going to a sunny location?
I am.
Damn
I'm
you.
going to South Carolina.
Oh no, you lucky duck.
Well,
Should we
yeah, kind of.
motion to,
Oh, motion to close the meeting?
we're done,
Yep.
Yeah,
so
I moved
moved.
the meeting.
Oh, So I'll second.
Who made the motion? Dan?
Kathy,
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay.
I
Motion to
agree.
close. Okay. Everybody? Janice?
I
Tom?
agree.
Tom?
Yep.
Tom?
Aye.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very
All right.
much. I will get these minutes typed up and we will get them reviewed.
Have a good
with
night.
the others. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you
Bye.
tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night.
Right.